Shall We Wine TV. I'm Regine Rousseau, your hostess. In this segment, we pair wine professionals with wine enthusiasts in order to show you what you should be drinking. Today, I am so excited. We are going to be tasting the Winters Hill wines from the Willamette Valley in Oregon. But before we get to tasting, let me introduce you to my guests. First, we have Micheal Cannon. Micheal is a general manager at 710 here in Chicago in Hyde Park. Then we have Lauren Rivera. Lauren is an associate professor at Northwestern University. And then my special guest is Josh Parkenson. Josh is the owner of Blind Taney. They actually distribute Winters Hill here in Chicago. So, Josh, since you are our expert on everything Winters Hill, why don't you tell us a little bit about the winery?
Well, the winery is located in the Dundee Hills, which is in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Great little vineyard. Delphine Gladhart is actually the winemaker. She is from France and sort of learned the craft of making these great wines in Burgundy. So the original birthplace of Pinot Noir. So it just makes sense that what they're doing now in Oregon has a lot of those same characteristics. Definitely kind of an old world style. These wines have ageability. They've got backbone, nice acidity, and really a nice complement to pairing with food as well.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited to taste. So what we do here at Shall We Wine is we take you through the 5 S's. We tell you the winery story, we see the wine, we smell the wine, we sip the wine, and then we speak our minds. For those of you who don't know, Pinot Blanc is actually the grape. It's a mutation of Pinot Gris, which is a mutation of Pinot Noir. So who knew mutations would be so tasty? All right, let's start tasting. Typically when we're looking at the wine, and usually what we're trying to do is get a feel for the age of the wine. When we're doing blind tastings, also get some clues about what grape this could be. For me, I love to look at the wine because it sort of sets up the experience I'm going to have when I put the glass in my mouth. It's sort of like looking at a well-dressed man, you know? You're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but if the cover looks good, you're going to want to read the book. Cheers. So what do you guys think?
It's delicious.
Have you tasted it yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, all right, because you're smelling. So one of the things I smell right off the bat is like almost like a green apple on the nose, but really, really light green apple.
Granny Smith apple, very tart.
Definitely. And on the nose, you kind of get that honeysuckle a little bit.
Yes. Yep.
Which is very appealing. And then definitely that sort of Granny Smith right on the mid palate, or right at the front part.
Let me see.
kinda
He
like-
jumped ahead. Let's taste. Josh couldn't wait.
I'm already on my second taste.
Okay. Do you get anything else on the nose?
I get a little bit of citrus. I'm having a hard time identifying what. It could be grapefruit, maybe even venturing into lime territory.
Or could it be a little orange too? I think grapefruit is right.
Yeah.
I'm getting more like a not pineapple, but like a star fruit.
Mmm. Yes, that's a nice one.
You
Yeah.
get a real kind of melon.
Yes. Yes.
Cantaloupe. Yeah.
This is all of our first times trying this wine, even Josh, because this is the new release, the 2013. But one of the things that surprised me is I got a little bit of this like caramel kind of butterscotchy thing on the finish that I wasn't expecting. Did anybody else get that?
Definitely. It's got a very long finish.
Yeah, but not a sweet one. I think.
Right. Yes. Maybe salted caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so really what's important to the consumer, I think, is not us talking so much about what we taste, but what would you have with this? How would you serve this?
Scallops, definitely.
All day long?
Yeah, all day.
Okay.
Some big, juicy scallops. Nice butter sauce to it, maybe a brown butter sauce. Cheeses. Again, one of your favorite cheeses, the
Oh, the buffalo. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Buffalo
yes,
milk
yes.
cheese.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think about the finish or of the finish?
The finish is super distinctive. It just keeps on going and going, and in a pleasant way. There's some wines you drink and you just want it to stop, but I wanted this one to keep on going, and it evolves in your mouth, which I think what you were talking about with the scallops and the food pairing, this would be perfect to cut through kind of a richer dish. I think it would be just perfect.
Oh, love it. So again, this is the 2013 Winters Hill Pinot Blanc, and now we are going to move to the rosé. Okay, now I am in my happy place. I am not ashamed. I love a rosé. And when I work with consumers, the number one question I have, I was doing a party recently for a client, and I was begging him, please, please, please let me add a rosé to the menu. And he wouldn't because he thinks that rosés are sweet. They're not all sweet. There are some sweet rosés. And I love that on the Winters Hill 2013, they have dry rosé. And I think it's great so the consumers understand that it's dry. But I'm in my happy place, not only because I love the taste of a rosé, but dear God, look at this color. Should I be talking about God and alcohol in the same sentence? Sorry. Okay. I love, I can spend hours looking at the color of rosés. This one is a little bit darker than what I'm used to. It's like this bright pink to red. There's a little bit of like orange coral thing going on, like a really great piece of salmon. Like maybe it's too dark for salmon, but on the edges I see like a little bit. Are you guys as excited as I am? Ruby red, yes. Like a ruby I should have. Like a man should give me a ruby this color, no?
For sure.
Yes. And this big.
Yeah, thank you.
And this big.
Okay, so I like the color. All right, anybody else wants to add?
Well, one thing that kind of goes back to your point about you shouldn't have to get people to drink rosé, but I think one thing, there's sort of this misconception that rosé is your mother's white sin.
Yes.
That is not the case,
Right.
especially in the case of Winters Hill, where we're drinking 100% estate Pinot Noir, which you get that color just from the extraction of the skins, how much of the skin you leave on, how much you take off, and that gives you that beautiful ruby color.
So, okay, you said 100% estate Pinot Noir. So for the audience members who don't know what that means, what's so special about estate?
Well, what makes that
And I'm going to take a sip while he answers that question.
Why don't we all?
Why don't we all?
Well, what I mean by that and what makes that special is that all of the wine or all of the grapes used to produce this wine actually come from Winters Hill Vineyard.
Okay.
A lot of people, winemakers, will buy their grapes on the open market from different vineyards and then take that back and create their own wine. Estate just means that all of the grapes used to produce this are from that vineyard right there, thus giving them a little bit more control over the product, and I like to think a little bit more knowledge about what they're doing as well, because they also were the farmers involved in creating this. So
And
that's what we're drinking.
yeah, I think that's important because sometimes consumers don't understand why they're paying a little bit more for a certain bottle of wine. And these are the things that are important. If it says estate, you might pay a little bit more, but you know that the quality is there. Not that it can't be with other wines, but it's an indication of the work that's been put into the wine.
From point A to point B, start to finish, one, in this case, family has had their eye on it from birth
Right.
until delivery.
Right.
And that's
Like a baby. They watch the baby. Okay, so what do you guys think? On the nose, any
Oh,
things jump out?
kind of funky.
Yes, I love a little funk in my wine. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, strawberry shortcake. The strawberries, the
Oh,
cream.
yeah.
Yeah, strawberries and cream. It's just a, yeah.
Now, but going back to the funk, we're talking about earth, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about like maybe a blue cheesy
Mhm.
on the
Yeah,
nose.
funky.
Not really pungent,
Yes.
but that's what we mean by when we say funk on the nose.
Mossy.
Yeah. Mossy kind of forest floor, wet stone, kind
Yes.
of creek bed, kind of earthiness.
Yeah, and that's important because again, it's about character. You don't want to smell a wine and only have one note, one scent. You want a wine that's gonna just have you thinking and smelling all of these different things. Again, that goes back to this is a quality product.
Well, and one reason I particularly really like Oregon and the wines that
Me
they
too.
create is that all the wines are in that sort of tradition of being site-specific, where they really want that wine to be a representation of where it comes from, as opposed to being made in a 100,000 case factory.
Right, right.
These wines change year to year, vintage to vintage, and depending on how much rain you got, and et cetera.
Right? How many cases you get or not get.
Exactly.
So one of the things I noticed, because I cheated, I had a little sip earlier, just like the Pinot Blanc, this wine just keeps giving. Like the finish is just going and going and going. Just like you mentioned with the Pinot Blanc. What do you guys get?
I seriously, I got an entire pint of strawberries in my mouth right now.
Nice.
And it's
And it fits.
yeah, like nice aged, not like crisp, fresh strawberries, but nicely aged, a little soft, where it's got a nice juiciness to it, and not overpoweringly sweet. So I love the dry aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because the flavor's there, it's lingering, and it kind of just pulls out.
Definitely easy enough to drink completely on its own,
Yes.
which we do all the time.
Right.
But if you wanted, I always think rosé. I think summertime. I think picnics. Barbecue, just hanging out, sun.
Yes,
We're in
right.
Chicago. That's enough for me.
Sun may come in, one day. But you know what I love too is that it's weighty in the mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a rosé, and which is great too, where it's super, super light, but you feel satisfied when you're drinking this wine.
It drinks like a real wine.
It does, yeah, absolutely.
And it's not one note. I've had a lot of rosés that are very strawberry heavy. They have that flavor profile, but that's all you get. There's
Yeah.
no depth of character. It doesn't change, and it doesn't have that acid. So you drink it on the porch, like you said, it's like drinking lemonade or strawberry lemonade.
Right.
And you just...
Spent $30 on.
Exactly.
Not that this is $30, but you know what I mean.
But this tastes like, you could pair this with food, you could drink it on its own,
Yeah.
and it's complex.
Yes.
Unlike, many rosés that people may have had more experience with.
Yeah. So I found 2 Rivera wines so far. This one and the Pinot Blanc. Because this is perfect, right? Rivera, you have all different types of foods. You're
Fried chicken.
outside. Fried chicken, yes.
Fried chicken with this.
Will
would
you
be
make
it.
some?
Yeah.
Like now?
Not quite.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So this is the 2013 Winters Hill Dry Rosé. The last wine is the 2012 Watershed Pinot Noir. Okay. I love Pinot Noirs. Actually, I might be obsessed with Pinot Noirs. So anybody smell yet? Okay. Michael started. So what do you, I know, right?
That's wonderful. I actually get green peppers.
Definitely that dark cherry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of signature Pinot.
I get some smoky notes.
Yes. I get the pepper, but I think it's more like a black or white pepper versus a vegetable pepper.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You smell this one and you're like, hello, lover. You just want to stick your nose in the glass and not take it out, and that's okay. You can do that.
It smells velvety, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
If velvet has a smell.
It has a smell, right? Because it's like a soft but dense and.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just getting excited. Sorry. Okay, I think we might want to taste now because we don't want to stop smelling. And once again, Michael started.
Ooh.
I like blackberries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tart cherry, right?
A little
Raspberry.
spice. There's a little spice in
Yeah.
it.
It's kind of
The
that
finish.
exotic spice, like,
Currant or no, that'd be a little too sweet.
yeah. But you definitely get kind of that spicy earthiness. And that the Jory soil is the soil in the Dundee Hills, which is actually the state soil of Oregon as well.
Okay.
Which is that red earth, that dusty red. You kind of get that brickish color. And you definitely kind of get that a little bit.
I'm trying to figure out what that spice is.
Yeah.
It's not. It reminds me of the nutmeg cinnamon family, but it's not nutmeg. It's not cinnamon. Okay, so what are you gonna make me when I come to your house and serve this wine with? You see how I got an invitation?
You just did.
I just did.
I
Okay,
I just
yeah.
you know, what grows together, goes together.
Grows together, goes together. Yes, yes, yes,
And
yeah.
I think the backbone of the wine would go really nicely kind of with like the fattier texture of a salmon.
Mm-hmm.
If I were doing salmon, I would do like a blackened salmon, like something
Yeah.
a little
Oh,
spiced. Something
okay.
with, something on the grill.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
My friend Stacy, last time she was here, maybe 2 times ago, she made duck with this like raspberry tart.
Ooh.
No, it was a cherry sauce, and it wasn't sweet. I almost want to try that with it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get her to come back to US to make that for me. It could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen. It could happen. What would
Can
you
I
have
get-
with this?
Oh,
A BLT. I want some bacon right now.
you're reading my mind.
I'm
You're-
reading
you're
your mind.
my
Well, no, seriously, I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about this that makes me think of.
Yeah, as you were saying, it needs the fatty,
Yeah.
and I think like a nice like a double cut pork chop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any kind
Okay.
of pork. You know,
Yes.
And-
full
Throw it on the
pieces.
grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bacon
it-
wrap dates.
Oh.
Oh,
now we're
see?
talking. Now we're
Because
talking.
it's dry enough where that sweetness from the dates it would work. Oh, I like it. How about
Even-
cheeses?
Cheeses.
You know what? I did an event recently when I paired a Pinot Noir with a blue cheese. I read about it and I was like, wow, this works. I was really, really surprised. Have you done that?
Yeah, actually, blue cheese is the first thing, but then after that, actually Parmesan.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that.
All right. Do you guys like this wine?
I love it. I love this. Love
You're
this.
prejudiced,
Well, I-
but you got good taste.
I have good taste.
I love it. If I would definitely, I would buy this wine. I would buy it.
And that velvety mouthfeel is definitely there, but it's not oaky. You don't.
Yeah.
It's not
No.
vanilla. It's not a sweet wine. It's very just well balanced. Is the way I put it.
And I've noticed that because I keep taking the first sip and the last sip.
You
is
just
that-
want to be ahead of the group.
Yes, is that each taste it's changing. It's kind of evolving, and so far all 3 wines.
Yeah.
Is that unique for?
I think Winter's Hill, especially coming from that sort of French tradition of winemaking, these wines are always made with ageability in mind. And that said, when you open a wine like that kind of has that backbone and you're thinking future, even though it's drinking awesome today.
Right, right.
It's going to change. Second glass different from the first glass, third different from the second. And if a wine ever lasts that second day,
Right.
it's going to taste different that second day.
Yeah.
Just it's going to open up a little bit and get a little bit more air and just change and evolve, like you're
Yeah.
saying, which is just cool.
Okay. One of the things that I'm really excited about is to introduce everyone to farmers, right? Winter's Hill, this is a family growing the grapes, making the wine, marketing the wine. Of course, they have you, and then they have a marketing director, but it's really important because, you know, these smaller wineries, they don't always get the recognition and the press, and they're doing an awesome job. And I think it's great that we're tasting them and we're talking about them and we're sharing the wines with the people that we know and love.
Agreed.
Say something.
I think also in terms of what you said with the farmers
Uh-huh.
and sustainable practices, it's also really important because there's been a lot of attention given to, there's nothing wrong with big commercial wineries,
Right, of course
but
not.
some of the artificial preservatives and some of the things that go into wine that we often don't know are going into our wine. And with a local producer where it's small, it's sustainable, you know what you're getting is grapes, right? You're not necessarily there, of course, aspects of the winemaking process that are kind of science fiction-y almost, but you know that it's a natural product as well, which I think that, you know, given people's concern with health and things like that, I think it's also great. You not only support the local farmers, but you can be confident that what you're drinking is, you know,
Yeah,
is
that's a good
just wine
point.
that people have been drinking for thousands of years.
Maybe next time we can have the winemaker join us.
That would be great.
That would be fun, and I'm sure they do it too. Sounds like a fun group of people.
doubt.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us for this segment of Shall We Wine. If you have any questions, you can contact me at info@shallwewine.com. If there are certain wines that you'd like us to review, again, send me an email and we'd be happy to. So thank you so much for joining us. We shall wine.